The colony was quiet. The metal corridors of the outer station were always silent after work hours. Only the hum of life support machines filled the air. Humans had lived here for 20 years, on the edge of known space, far away from Earth. It was safe, peaceful, or at least it always seemed that way. Inside one small room, a young man named Aaron lay on his bed. He had worked all day repairing power lines near the docking bay. His hands still smelled of oil and metal, but his body was too tired to care. He kicked off his boots, closed his eyes, and drifted into sleep. He did not check the door. He did not lock it. He always forgot. Across the hall, someone else was not sleeping. His sister. She was not human. She was different, and everyone in the colony knew it. Her name was Sarah. She looked almost human. 2 arms, 2 legs, dark hair like her brother's, but her eyes glowed faint silver in the dark. Her skin carried faint lines like soft patterns of light moving under the surface. And tonight, those lines burned brighter. Sarah belonged to an alien species that no human truly understood. The colonists had found her as a child, abandoned, after a crash. They raised her like one of their own, and Aaron's family took her in. She grew up calling Aaron brother. She laughed, played, and learned human ways. But she was not human. She never would be. And now, something was happening to her. She paced in her room, hands shaking, breath heavy. It had begun. Her species' mating season, a natural cycle written deep in her blood, a season of hunger and instinct. No lessons, no human kindness could erase it. The elders of the colony knew. They had warned the people, do not walk alone at night. Keep your doors locked this week. Keep away from her. They spoke in low voices, almost afraid to even say the words. But Aaron never listened to warnings. He trusted Sarah more than anyone. She was his sister, his family. He thought she could control it. He thought nothing bad could happen, and so his door remained unlocked. Sarah's glowing eyes fixed on that door. She could hear his breathing through the wall. Slow, calm, unaware. Her instincts whispered, "Go to him. Go now." She fought it, digging, her nails into her palms. "No," she whispered to herself. "Not him, not Aaron." But instincts are stronger than words. The corridor light flickered. The night shift power cycle always dimmed the lights to save energy. It gave the hallway a ghostly look. Sarah stepped out, bare feet silent on the cold floor. Her movements were smooth, too smooth, like a predator in the dark. Aaron stirred in his sleep. His dreams were strange tonight. He heard whispers, voices that weren't his own. His eyes opened halfway, then closed again. Just the machines, he told himself. Just the hum of the colony. But it wasn't the machines. It was her. The door slid open with a soft hiss. A shape entered his room, slow and careful. The faint glow of silver eyes reflected in the dark. Aaron did not see it. His face was turned to the wall. He only felt a change in the air, like static before a storm. Sarah stood by his bed. She watched him. Her breathing was fast but quiet. Her hands shook as she reached out and then pulled back. Her instincts screamed for her to touch him, to claim him. But her human heart, her love for the brother who raised her, fought back. Her claws slid out for a moment, thin, sharp, shining under the weak light. She closed her fists tight, hiding them. She leaned closer, close enough to hear his heartbeat. Strong, calm. She wanted to run. She wanted to stay. Both at once. Aaron's eyes opened suddenly. For a second they met hers, silver glow against human brown. He froze. She froze. The room was silent. Neither moved. His heart pounded. He did not speak. He did not want to scare her. But deep inside, he knew something was wrong. This was not his sister as he knew her. This was something older, something alien, something dangerous. Finally, Sarah stepped back. Her lips trembled, as if she wanted to say something, but no sound came out. The glow in her eyes dimmed just a little and she turned away. The door hissed again as she left. Aaron sat up in his bed, sweat on his forehead. He stared at the empty doorway, trying to calm his breathing. His hands shook. He whispered to himself, "Lock the door, I should lock the door." But even as he said it, he knew it was too late, because tonight was only the beginning. The morning came slowly to the colony. Pale light from the nearby star filtered through the station's thin windows. People began their routines, machines humming, children running through the hallways, workers heading to their stations. To most, it was just another ordinary day. But for Aaron, it was not ordinary at all. He could still feel the weight of last night. The image of silver eyes staring at him in the dark would not leave his mind. His sister, Sierra, had come into his room. She had stood over him in silence, almost touching him, almost something worse. And then she left, without a word. He told himself it was nothing. Maybe she had sleepwalked. Maybe she was restless. Maybe. But deep inside, he knew better. Sarah was changing. The people of the colony whispered about her. They always had. Some called her a gift, a child of two worlds. Others called her a danger waiting to happen. They had raised her since she was a girl, but no one truly understood her species. No books, no history, no records from her homeworld, only fragments. She looked human enough to blend in, but there were signs. Her skin sometimes glowed faintly, like starlight underwater. Her blood, when tested, showed strange shifting patterns that no human doctor could explain. And her eyes, those silver eyes, were beautiful, but they made people uneasy. Now those signs were stronger. That morning, Aaron found her in the dining hall. She sat alone, not eating, just staring at the food. Her plate was untouched. Normally, she loved the sweet fruit packs from the hydroponics farm, but today she only sniffed them, then pushed them away. "Aren't you going to eat?" Aaron asked, trying to sound casual. Her head turned slowly. For a moment she did not answer. Then, with a low voice, she whispered, "Not hungry." Her voice was dry, strained, like she was holding something back. Aaron sat down across from her. He tried to smile. "You look tired. Did you sleep?" Her silver eyes flickered. She said nothing. Instead, she looked at him the way a wolf might look at a sheep, curious, restrained, but dangerous. Aaron felt a chill and looked away. He tried to laugh. "You're acting strange, you know that?" She finally spoke, but her words made his skin crawl. "It's starting." "What's starting?" "You wouldn't understand," she whispered, then pushed away from the table and left. Aaron sat frozen. He wanted to follow, but something told him not to. He noticed other colonists staring, whispering. They had seen her too. That afternoon, Aaron overheard two elders talking in the repair bay. "She's showing signs already," one said. "It's her season," the other replied, lowering his voice. It was bound to happen eventually. Aaron leaned closer, pretending to fix a cable while listening. "We should confine her," the elder whispered, "before something happens. She's lived with us for years. She's one of us. She's not one of us. She's something else." Aaron's chest grew tight. He wanted to shout at them, defend his sister, but he stayed silent. Deep inside, he feared they were right. That night, he found Sierra again. She stood near the outer observation glass, staring at the stars. The patterns on her skin were brighter now, almost glowing in waves. "You're scaring people," Aaron said softly. "Good," she replied without turning. "That's not funny," he said. Finally, she looked at him. For a second, her eyes softened like the sister he knew was still in there. But then her expression hardened. "I can't stop it, Aaron. It's inside me. It's stronger every hour." He stepped closer. "Then let me help. Whatever it is, we'll find a way." "No!" she snapped, her voice sharp, echoing in the metal corridor. "You don't understand. This isn't something you can fix with tools or words. It's nature. My nature. Her hands trembled. She pressed them against the glass, silver light pulsing through her veins. When my kind reach this cycle, we change. We need. We take. Aaron's throat went dry. He remembered the way she stood over him last night, her claws sliding out. What happens if you don't? He asked carefully. She turned her face back to the stars. Then I lose myself. Aaron couldn't sleep that night. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening for footsteps outside his door. Every creak of the station made his heart jump. He thought of her words. We need. We take. He thought of the elders. Confine her before something happens. But most of all, he thought of Sarah, not as an alien, not as a danger, but as the girl who had once followed him everywhere, who had laughed when he taught her human games, who had called him brother with a smile. Now she was slipping away from him, and somewhere deep inside, he feared that if she lost control, he would be the first one she came for. The silver glow returned in the corridor. The sound of soft footsteps stopped outside his door. Aaron held his breath. The door hissed, and the night began again. The colony was no longer at ease. What had begun as whispers soon turned into fear. People avoided the corridors where Sarah walked. Mothers pulled their children closer. Workers lowered their voices when her name was spoken. Something about her was different now, and everyone could feel it. Aaron noticed it first in small ways. Sarah's movements had changed. She no longer walked like a person who belonged. She moved like a shadow, smooth and silent. She no longer joined meals, no longer laughed at small jokes, no longer spoke unless forced. Her eyes stayed fixed on people too long, as if studying them. And there were other changes. One evening, while working near the water systems, Aaron heard strange noises in the pipes. At first, he thought it was pressure in the line. But when he leaned close, he realized it wasn't the machines. It was a low hum. A voice. Almost like singing. Sarah was nearby, standing alone, her hands pressed against the metal wall. The faint glow in her skin pulsed with the sound. When Aaron called her name, she turned suddenly, eyes silver bright, and the humming stopped. She gave him no explanation, just walked away. The elders held meetings in secret. But secrets travel, fast in a small colony. Aaron overheard them again. Her cycle will grow stronger. We must keep her locked away until it ends. If we wait too long, she could harm us. You've read the old records. Her kind is dangerous in this season. Aaron wanted to fight for her, but he was afraid. Afraid not of what they might do, but of what Sarah herself might become. That night he dreamed again. He dreamed of silver light filling the corridors, flooding every room. He dreamed of Sarah standing in the middle of the colony, her eyes blazing, her claws drawn, her voice echoing through the station. The words were not human. They were old, alien, powerful. He woke to silence, and the sound of soft scratching outside his door, the same door he still had not locked. The next day, incidents began. A boy reported that he saw Sarah crouched near the air vents, her fingers hooked inside the grate, her body trembling as if listening for something only she could hear. A woman claimed Sarah followed her silently all the way to her quarters, then vanished when she turned, and then came the animals. The colony kept small livestock, goats, rabbits, chickens, for fresh food. That week, the animals grew restless. They refused to eat, their bodies shaking when Sarah passed by. One morning, 2 rabbits were found dead in their cage. No blood, no wound, just dead, eyes wide open. The whispers grew louder. She killed them. It's her season. Next time it won't be animals. Aaron couldn't ignore it anymore. He found Sarah in her room, sitting on the floor with her back to the wall. The patterns in her skin were burning brighter now, crawling like living light. Her eyes were distant, unfocused, as though she was trapped inside herself. Sarah, Aaron said softly. She looked up, and for a moment he saw tears in her silver eyes. "I don't want this," she whispered. "I don't want to be this." Aaron knelt beside her. "Then fight it. You're stronger than this." She shook her head. "You don't understand. My kind doesn't resist. We give in. The cycle doesn't ask. It takes. It changes us until nothing is left." Her claws slid out slowly, unbidden. She stared at them with horror. "I can't stop it, Aaron. Every night it grows louder. Every night I hear the call." "What call?" he asked. She lifted her head, her voice trembling. "The stars." Aaron felt a chill deep in his bones. The colony was built far from Earth in quiet space, far from any known homeworlds. What if this season wasn't just instinct? What if something out there was pulling her? He wanted to argue, to deny it, but before he could speak, the alarm bells rang. A shout came through the corridor. "Containment breach in hydroponics." Aaron rushed with the others. When they reached the farm section, the air was heavy with a strange smell. Sweet, sharp, almost chemical. Plants had withered, their leaves blackened. The workers were pale and coughing, and in the center stood Sarah, her skin blazing with silver. Fire. The guards pointed their weapons, but none dared shoot. She didn't attack. She just stood there, breathing heavily, her claws dripping with a faint mist. When she saw Aaron, her expression flickered between sorrow and hunger. Then in one sudden movement she vanished into the vents. The colony was in chaos. "We have to hunt her down. She's too dangerous now. She's not Sarah anymore." Aaron stood among them, his fists clenched, his heart torn. She was his sister, but she was also something else, something even she couldn't control. That night he sat in his room, staring at the door again. Still unlocked. He wanted to believe she wouldn't come, but deep inside he knew she would, because no matter how far she ran, no matter what her instincts demanded, her first choice, her first target, was still him. And the cycle had only just begun. The colony had changed in only a few days. Once its metal halls carried the sound of laughter and routine. Now silence ruled. Families locked their doors early, windows covered, footsteps quick and nervous. Everyone waited for the next incident. Everyone feared the silver-eyed girl, and Aaron feared the night. He sat in his room again, lights dim, heart beating too fast. The memory of the hydroponics farm haunted him. Plants burned black, animals dead. Sarah standing in the middle with glowing skin and claws like knives. She had looked at him before she disappeared. She had chosen him, and he had left the door unlocked again. The hours passed. The hum of life support filled the silence. Somewhere outside, a pipe clicked, a faint hiss of air. Then, footsteps. Slow. Careful, too careful to be human. Aaron's chest tightened. He closed his eyes, forcing his body to stay still. If he moved, if he breathed too loud, she would know he was awake. The door slid open with a soft hiss. She entered. Sarah moved like a shadow, silent except for the faint hum in her chest, a low vibration that seemed to shake the air. Her skin glowed faintly, silver lines crawling like fire under the surface. Her claws slid out with a slow, wet sound. Aaron could feel her presence near his bed. His heart hammered against his ribs. She stood over him. For a moment, she did not move. She just watched him as if measuring. Her breathing was heavy, trembling between control and hunger. Aaron forced himself to remain still, eyes half closed, pretending to sleep. Then he felt it. Her hand brushed the edge of his blanket. Soft at first, almost gentle, but the claws scratched, faint lines into the fabric. The sound made his blood run cold, her head tilted, silver eyes glowing brighter. She leaned closer, close enough for him to feel the heat of her breath on his skin. Memories hit him like waves. He remembered her as a child, clumsy and curious, following him through the colony, always laughing. He remembered teaching her words, games, the way she used to call him brother with pure joy. Now the same girl hovered over him, her body shaking with instincts she could not control. Suddenly she whispered. A single word. Aaron. His heart froze. Her voice was not her own. It was layered, 2 tones at once, one human, one alien echoing together. He opened his eyes, unable to keep up the act any longer. Their gazes locked, silver against brown. For a long moment, neither moved. Aaron whispered back, barely a breath. Sarah, it's me. You know me. Her claws trembled in the air only inches from his chest. Her lips parted as if to speak, but the sound that came out was not language, it was a low growl, hungry and raw. Aaron reached up slowly, his hand shaking. He placed it gently on her wrist. You're my sister. You don't want to hurt me, her eyes flickered. For a heartbeat, he thought he saw the old Sarah, the girl who used to smile at him. But then the glow in her skin flared brighter. Her body jerked and she slammed her hand into the wall beside his head, claws digging into metal with a screech. Aaron flinched, his breath caught in his throat. She leaned so close her forehead nearly touched his. Her silver eyes burned, her breath hot and uneven. And then she froze. A new sound filled the room. The colony alarm. A siren wailed through the halls, breaking the silence. Red lights flashed against the walls. Sarah hissed, pulling back. Her claws ripped free from the wall, leaving long scars in the steel. She turned sharply, her body shaking with rage and confusion. Aaron sat up, gasping as she backed toward the door. For one moment her eyes softened again, like she was begging him to understand something. Then she vanished into the corridor, faster than his eyes could follow. The door slid shut behind her. Aaron pressed his back against the wall, his chest heaving. Sweat ran down his face. He looked at the claw marks inches from his head. If she had chosen differently, he would already be dead. The alarm kept wailing. Outside, shouts echoed. Guards running, colonists panicking. Another incident had begun. Aaron buried his face in his hands. He could no longer deny it. Sarah wasn't just changing. She was losing herself. And every night, she came closer to crossing the line between sister and predator. Later, he heard the reports. Another farm animal, found dead. A guard nearly attacked in the corridors, vents torn open. The elders demanded action. She must be confined, they shouted. If we don't, she'll kill us all. But Aaron said nothing. He kept his secret. He told no one that she had stood in his room, inches from his throat. He told no one that she whispered his name, in a voice no longer human, because part of him still believed she could fight it. Part of him still saw the sister he grew up with. But another part, deep, quiet, and cold, knew the truth. If this continued, sooner or later, Sarah would not leave. Sooner or later, she would choose him. The colony could no longer keep quiet. What had started as whispers in the halls had grown into full fear. Every corner of the station carried her name. Sarah. The word was spoken like a warning, like a curse. After the hydroponics disaster and the dead animals, the Council of Elders held an open meeting in the central dome. For the first time, no one was calm. Dozens of colonists filled the room, their voices sharp, echoing against metal walls. She's dangerous, one man shouted. She almost killed a guard, another added. Why is she still walking free? Aaron stood at the back of the crowd, jaw tight, fists clenched. He could feel eyes turning toward him. Everyone knew Sarah was his sister. Everyone knew she had been raised in his family's home. The head elder, an old woman with gray hair tied back, raised her hand. The noise settled. You all know the truth, she said. Her cycle has begun. She cannot control herself. The old records warn us her kind becomes violent, unstable, deadly. She's already deadly, someone muttered. The elder nodded. From tonight she must be contained. Aaron's heart dropped. He wanted to argue, to defend her. He wanted to shout, "She is not a monster. She is my sister." But then his memory betrayed him. The night before, her claws had been inches from his chest, Her silver eyes had burned with hunger. He could not speak. Word spread fast. The order was clear. Sarah was to be hunted and locked in the isolation wing. Guards patrolled in groups of 3. Colonists double-checked their locks. The sound of weapons being loaded echoed through the halls. Children whispered frightening stories. She drinks blood. She can melt steel with her hands. She waits in the vents to grab you when you sleep. Even the animals refuse to calm. The goats kicked their cages. The chickens clucked endlessly through the night. Every living creature seemed to sense the storm coming. Aaron went searching. He found her near the observation deck again, sitting against the glass, staring at the stars. Her skin glowed brighter than before, silver light pulsing in steady waves. "They know," Aaron said. His voice cracked. "The council, the guards, everyone. They want to lock you up." Sarah did not look at him. "I can feel them watching." "Then, come with me. We can hide you." Finally, she turned. Her eyes were brighter, sharper, inhuman. "Hide me? You don't understand, Aaron. I don't belong here. Not anymore." "Yes, you do," he insisted. He grabbed her hand, ignoring the heat that pulsed through her skin. "You're my sister." Her lips trembled. For a moment he saw the girl he remembered, the child who used to chase him down the corridors, laughing innocent. Then the light inside her flared again. She ripped her hand away, breathing heavy. "I'm not your sister anymore. I'm something else. And they're right to fear me." That night, the colony made its move. 3 guards followed her trail into the vent systems. Their flashlights cut through the dark. The air smelled strange, sharp, chemical, unnatural. Ahead, one whispered. A silver glow flickered at the far end of the tunnel. They advanced, but the tunnel shook with a sudden roar. A blur of silver light burst from the shadows. The first guard was thrown against the wall, his weapon torn from his hands. The second barely fired before her claws ripped through his rifle. The third stumbled back, too terrified to shoot. Then, silence. When the backup team arrived, they found the guards alive but broken, their armor torn, their faces pale with shock. None of them would speak about what they had seen, but the message was clear. Sarah was no longer a frightened girl. She was a threat no one could stop. The council called another meeting. This time the words were louder, harder. "She must be killed. She'll destroy us all. She isn't human." Aaron stood up at last, unable to stay quiet. "No." His voice cut through the noise. "You don't know her like I do. She doesn't want this. She's fighting it. She's still in there." The head elder shook her head. "She stood against armed guards and left them alive. That was mercy. But mercy will not last. You must face the truth, Aaron. When the cycle finishes, nothing human will remain in her." The crowd muttered in agreement. Aaron's hands trembled. He wanted to believe the elder was wrong. He wanted to believe Sarah could resist. But deep in his chest, doubt was growing. That night, Aaron sat in his room again, staring at the scratches in the wall from her claws. His mind echoed with the elder's words, "Nothing human will remain." Then he heard it. Footsteps, the hiss of his door sliding open, and her voice, low and broken. "Aaron." She had come again. The night stretched long across the colony. Red standby. Lights glowed faintly along the corridors. Families stayed hidden behind locked doors. Whispers muffled. Weapons kept close. Everyone knew the truth now. Sarah was no longer safe to walk among them. But Aaron couldn't hide. Not from her. Not from himself. She stood in his room again, silver eyes glowing, her body trembling like a storm held inside. Her claws slid in and out with every breath, unable to stay hidden. "Aaron," she whispered. Her voice was cracked, layered, 2 tones fighting for control, one his sister's, the other something alien. He sat up slowly, careful not to startle her. "You don't have to do this. You can fight it." Her head tilted, sharp and unnatural. "Fight?" Her lips curled, almost in a smile, almost in pain. This is not a fight. It is what I am, what I was made for. Aaron shook his head. No, you were raised here. You are more than this. You're my sister. For a heartbeat, her eyes softened. Then the glow inside her skin flared brighter, washing the room in silver light. Her claws slammed into the wall beside his head, cutting deep scars into the metal. You don't understand, she hissed, her breath hot and uneven. Every hour it grows stronger. It wants me to take, to claim, to break everything human in me. Aaron's heart raced, but he reached for her wrist, gripping it tight even as the claws twitched near his face. Then let me remind you what's human. Let me remind you who you are. Before she could answer, the sirens blared. Containment teams, Sector 7 breach. A voice shouted over the intercom. Heavy boots thundered down the halls. The guards? We're coming. Sierra's head snapped toward the door. The glow around her body pulsed brighter. Instinct took hold. She hissed low, ready to run or fight. Aaron stepped between her and the door. Don't. If you fight them, they'll kill you. Her silver eyes locked on him. Then let them try. The door burst open. 3 guards stormed inside, rifles raised. Their visors reflected the glow from Sarah's skin. Step away, Aaron, one shouted. She's not human anymore, another barked. Sarah let out a guttural sound, her claws fully extended, her body crouched like a predator ready to strike. Aaron raised his hands. Stop, don't shoot. He turned to Sarah, desperate. Sarah, look at me, not them, me. The guards tightened their grips. Move aside, boy, Sarah roared. Silver light exploded from her body, slamming the guards backward. Their rifles sparked, short-circuited by the surge. The air shook with raw energy, lights flickering across the ceiling. Aaron shielded his face from the blast, heart pounding. When the light faded, the guards were on the floor, alive but stunned. Sarah stood trembling, chest heaving, eyes burning with wildfire. Aaron grabbed her shoulders. This isn't you. You don't want to hurt them. She shook violently, her claws twitching near his chest. I can't stop. Yes, you can, Aaron said firmly. His voice was steady, even though fear knotted his stomach. You stopped with me, twice. You could have killed me, but you didn't. That's not instinct, that's choice. For a moment, silence. Her silver eyes flickered, fighting against something inside. She closed them tight, her whole body shaking as though tearing itself apart. Then, footsteps echoed again. More guards. More rifles. Aaron knew what they would see. Not his sister, not a girl worth saving, but a monster. Sarah's instincts surged at the sound, her claws snapping out, her body lowering to strike. Aaron moved fast. He wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close. She froze in shock. Listen to me, he whispered against her ear. You are not alone. You are not a monster. You are Sarah, my sister, my family. No cycle, no instinct, no alien hunger can take that away unless you let it. Her body went rigid. Her claws hovered at his back, sharp enough to pierce through in an instant. For a heartbeat, Aaron thought he had made the worst mistake of his life. Then, slowly, painfully, her claws retracted. Her breathing softened. The glow in her skin dimmed, flickering like a dying flame. She trembled in his arms, whispering in that broken, layered voice. I remember. The guards burst in again, weapons raised. Stand down, they shouted. Aaron spread his arms, shielding her. Don't shoot. She's fighting it. She's dangerous, one barked. Move aside. Sarah lifted her head, silver eyes still glowing but wet with tears. For once she did not crouch to attack. She did not roar. She simply stood shaking, barely holding herself together. Aaron looked at the guards, his voice steady. If you shoot her, you'll kill what's left of her humanity. And if that dies, then yes, she will be the monster you fear. But if she has even one more chance, she can win this. The guards hesitated, their weapons trembling. The room was thick with silence, broken only by Sarah's heavy breathing. Finally, the head guard lowered his rifle. "If you're wrong, boy, we're all dead." Sarah collapsed against Aaron, exhausted, the glow fading around her body. He held her up, heart pounding. For now, she had resisted. But the cycle was not over, and Aaron knew the hardest battle was still to come. Not against the colony, not against weapons, but against the alien hunger inside his sister. The colony had reached its breaking point. After the clash in Aaron's room, after the guards fell and Sarah dimmed her glow, the council gave their final word. She would not be allowed to roam free again. She would be confined or destroyed. The people were divided. Some demanded her death. Others, though fewer, whispered that she might still be saved. But one thing was certain. The station could no longer live in peace while she walked its halls. And so, the hunt began again. Aaron stayed close to her, close to. He refused to leave her side even as fear spread around them. She was weak now, her glow faint, her claws dull. The effort of resisting her instincts had drained her. She leaned on him, trembling with every step. "They'll never stop," Aaron whispered as he led her down a dim corridor. "They'll come until they kill you." Sarah gave a faint, tired laugh. "Maybe they should." "Don't say that," Aaron snapped, his voice breaking. "You fought it. You held on. You're still you, I saw it." Her silver eyes turned toward him, softer than before. For now, they reached the outer observation dome. Beyond the glass, the stars burned bright, endless and silent. Sarah pressed her hand against the glass. The silver patterns in her skin pulsed in rhythm with the stars. Aaron watched, uneasy. "What is it?" Her voice was low, distant. "I hear them. Calling. The others. My kind. They're out there." Aaron frowned. "Others? You mean more like you?" "Yes," she whispered. "I was not meant to be alone. This season, it's not just instinct. It's a signal, a bond across the stars. They call to me, and I call back." Aaron felt his stomach twist. The colony had always believed she was the last of her kind. But what if she wasn't? What if her cycle wasn't just dangerous, it was a beacon? The doors hissed open. Dozens of guards entered, weapons raised. Behind them came the council elder. Her voice was sharp, cold. "Step aside, Aaron. It ends tonight." Aaron spread his arms, standing between them and his sister. "She's not a monster. She's fighting it. You don't understand. She's not the danger. The call is." The elder narrowed her eyes. "You expect us to believe she can be saved? Look at her, she's not even human anymore." "She doesn't need to be human," Aaron shot back. His voice shook, but he didn't move. "She just needs to be Sarah." The guards hesitated, fingers hovered on triggers. Sarah stood trembling, her glow pulsing brighter with every breath. Then the stars outside shifted. At first Aaron thought it was his imagination. But then everyone saw it. A faint silver shimmer far beyond the colony, moving like a ripple across space. Lights flickered in strange patterns, almost alive. Sarah gasped. "They're here." The elder's face went pale. What is that?" Sarah pressed her forehead against the glass. Her voice layered again, alien and human woven together. "My kind. The signal reached them. They're coming." Panic spread through the guards. Some shouted to fire at her immediately. Others froze, staring at the strange lights in the sky. Aaron grabbed Sarah's shoulders. "Stay with me. Don't answer them." Her body shook violently. "I can't. They're inside my head. They're stronger than me." "You're stronger than them," Aaron said fiercely. "You chose not to hurt me. You chose to resist. That was you, not them. Hold on to that." Her eyes burned with tears of silver light. "What if I fail?" "Then fail with me," he said. "But don't give in to them." The colony shook. A low vibration trembled through the walls as if something vast had brushed against the station. Lights flickered. The guards stumbled. Sarah screamed, falling to her knees. The glow inside her body blazed so bright the entire dome lit up. She clutched her head, the alien voice inside her echoing through the chamber. Aaron dropped with her, holding her tight. "Sarah, stay with me. Remember who you are." For a moment it seemed hopeless. The glow was too strong, the voice too loud. Then, suddenly, it stopped. The light dimmed. The vibration faded. The stars outside returned to stillness, and Sarah lay trembling in Aaron's arms, her glow reduced to a faint shimmer, her eyes closing in exhaustion. The guards lowered, their weapons slowly. The elder's voice shook. What just happened?" Aaron looked down at his sister. "She chose. She shut them out." "No," the elder whispered. Her eyes turned toward the stars. "They withdrew. They tested her and us. And they'll come again." Aaron held Sarah tighter. She was alive. She had resisted. But the elder's words carved into his mind. This was not an ending. It was only a pause. Later that night, the colony returned to uneasy quiet. The council debated what to do. Some still wanted Sarah confined. Others whispered of the greater danger, the unseen aliens across the stars. Aaron sat by Sarah's side as she slept. Her skin glowed faintly, no longer in hunger, but in peace. For the first time in days, her face looked calm. He brushed her hair back, whispering softly, "You're still my sister, and no matter what comes, I'll fight for you." She stirred, eyes half opening, her voice a broken whisper. "Always, brother." Then she fell into deep sleep. Aaron looked back at the stars through the glass. He felt it too now, a presence, distant but patient, watching, waiting. The cycle had ended, but the war had not yet begun, and the door to something greater and more terrifying was no longer locked.